Hey everyone, what's up? I hope you're having a beautiful and blessed day. Um, I hope all is well with you. Jojo has been sick for over a week, and that's why I haven't been up on YouTube making any videos. I mean, she was really, really sick. Whew. But she's getting her energy back. You know, she's coming around nicely. So we have to be careful with the kids too to make sure that they're being cared for, um, that their immune systems are staying strong in this environment, that they're eating the right foods. But it looks like no matter what you do, kids are going to get sick. Um, but either way, yeah, I'm out here in the garden surveying the crops that we just planted, and I have something to show you, and I want to get close so you can see, because this is really amazing. So we have our sunflowers coming up, we have corn. Can you see my hand? We have corn. So we have the tomatoes breaking ground, all in a line, exactly how we planted them. We have the scallions. We have mchicha. We have, yeah, so the sunflowers are a little slower, but I can see them coming up, right? I know it's hard for these cameras to pick up anything, so I'm trying to show it to you. But I'm so excited because this is the first time I've planted anything, well, food, on the African continent. I mean, I planted those plants over there in that garden, right? But this is the first like food garden, and it kind of feels different because when you're planting for beautification, you don't have that spiritual connection to the soil as you do, when you actually put a seed in the earth and then you eat the food from that seed, or you're eating the soil, the same kind of food that your ancestors ate from. So this is some pumpkin, and look what we got. So that was planted by Maria and myself the other day. So we've got pumpkin coming up, right? Look at what else we have. We have some scallion. So I'm gonna move the scallions and the onions to the kitchen garden. I'm gonna show you that. What else do I have over here that's sprouting? Ginger is sprouting. Turmeric is sprouting. Can you see? Yeah. So yeah, a lot of our seeds and our local things that we saved is growing, right? So that's interesting. Some of the international seeds I haven't seen come up just yet how I would like. This is a potato. Oh no, this is a tomato. This tomato. But some of the other seeds, maybe they take a longer time. I haven't seen them. And this is garlic coming up, right? Oh yeah. Don't judge me. My hair hasn't been done in a minute. My feet hasn't been done in a minute. Um, I've been super exhausted. Jojo is a prima donna when she's sick, which is rare. She's usually sick for like 24 hours, but she was sick for 6 whole days straight. Uh, Fever, nothing else. No vomiting, nothing else, just fever. And so I had her sleeping in my bed. She was keeping me up. Then she woke up. She wants cake. So what does mama do? Mama bakes her a cake. Then she doesn't want the cake. Then she wants, curry chicken with dumplings. So what does mama do? Mama makes curry chicken with dumplings. Then she doesn't want that. And it's it's one thing to say, okay, she's being difficult, but she's sick, and so she had my undivided attention for 5, 6 whole days, where I was doing nothing but pleasing her and trying to make sure that she was mended well. And it was just a great surprise to come back and see that in my absence, all the plants were blooming. So don't judge my hair, feet, none of that stuff. I've been taking care of my baby. So this is the garden, the kitchen garden, that I'm going to be moving the onions. I'm going to be planting thyme and rosemary and some other herbs. So this is going to be a herb bush, a herb garden right here, right? So when we're cooking, we have access to our herbs and stuff. So I just had this built, and it was built while I was out with JoJo. So yeah, so I haven't been here in a few days, and that's just to come back and see what it looks like. It's really awesome. So while I was taking time to care for JoJo, I was also working on the next project, the next big thing, which I wouldn't even call it the next big thing. It's the old big thing, right? I've been saying all year, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But what people don't know is I've done basically some of everything. And my objective was to finish this particular project, or start the project this year, because 2020 sucked the life out of all of us. This house just landed. It was a great project, and I do not regret any time that I spent developing it and building it and marketing it, and bringing the diaspora here. But I feel like Renee, the entrepreneur, Renee, the web developer, Renee, the filmmaker, has been displaced. And so there are times when I felt like I lost my identity, because I was never a person who was on YouTube. If you go back to my earlier channels, I wouldn't deliberately make a YouTube channel. It was just something that I did to show people that Africa is beautiful. Africa is worthy, right? And Africa, there are tons of opportunities that exist here. And so I started the channel to show people what exactly Africa looks like, and how people live here. And it just spiraled into this diaspora thing, right? And so I found myself kind of like in a place where, you know, I was challenged between who I am, what, all the skills that I have, and, and doing this. And right now I feel like there are enough people who are here, who are, looking to, follow in my footsteps, or follow the model that I created, by attracting people back to the diaspora. And so now, well, I'm sorry, attracting the diaspora back to Africa. And so I have planted a seed that will grow into a massive tree that will demonstrate that I was here and I did the work, and and this tree is going to shade so many people in this generation and in the next generation, right? And so that's what those Zoom meetings are about. And so professionally, it's time for me to get on, get on to what I know to do, right? And it's not a new chapter, it's an old chapter. I was waiting for certain things to fall into place, which they have, um, not just personally, but logistically speaking. And some things have fallen into place. And I'm so uh, excited about where I am now and where I worked, how I worked to get here, right? So, um, this is a journey that started in 2014. It is now 2022, right? It's a very, very long time to be working on something. There were times when I started that project and I looked out into the world to see who was like me that I could copy or I could learn from, or I could pick up the phone and I could call, and there was no one. Just like this Exodus house. There were times when I wished that there was someone I could call, you know, but there was no one. There was something, I wish there was a blueprint for repatriating strong-minded people of African descent to resettle them in Africa. There was nothing. And if there was an Exodus house, I, Renee, would not have spent so long in America. But, you know, I took some time to reflect. Like I said, my identity was challenged. I went through some things, probably 2013, where I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and I worked myself out of that psychologically. I said to myself that if my industry should disappear, because I never wanted to go back into my industry, travel development, I never wanted to do it because it was too much. There was too much chaos, right? And it was not conducive to my family life, the family life that I wanted, right? And so when I went through that issue with my health, it gave me time to sit and ponder, to look at other things. And I took so many courses. Yes, I was having a brain tumor, but I was determined that I was not going to die. I was determined that I was not going to give my coffin or my graveyard all of my gifts, all of my energies. I was just determined that I had no time to die. I had other things to do. And so, it's easy to say and hard to do. And for those of you who are facing health challenges, um, you know, try to look outside of your health. Try to look more on, on your life, your goal, your plans, the things that you want to do, that you want to accomplish. Look on that stuff, right? Because if you look at your medical situation, you go nuts. So while I was experiencing a health crisis, I took it as time to look at what was needed in the marketplace. And I took a lot of online courses, and the one thing that I stopped on was food security. And as a researcher, I found, valuable information, and I looked out into the world to see if there's anything else like it. Found absolutely nothing. There was nothing like this. And I went and I developed it. I built it myself. Some of you who know what I'm talking about, go ahead and leave that in the comment section, because you know that ride. You've been on that ride with me, right? And I built this app from my deathbed, and I built it initially to connect the diaspora to Africa. And there wasn't enough of a sell in there because it wasn't sexy to come back to Africa, right? And I said, the thing that we need to do is trade and do business with Africa. And so I went out to all of the different bodies and I found the information on how I should do what I needed to do. And I was scared of moving to Africa. So instead of moving to Africa, what I did was I went to Jamaica, my country that was familiar, and I used that as the testing ground for this trade app. And the market that I really wanted to connect with was China. And Jamaica was a no-brainer because Jamaica is China's #1 trading or #1 partner, logistics partner in the Western Hemisphere. And they were busy building up, building out Kingston Harbor, and they had expanded the Panama Canal, and and so I said, okay, it looks like Jamaica is ready, the market is ready. And so when I went out to do business with the producers, Jamaica was not ready. And I wrote an article in the Jamaican newspaper that was widely published, and I was invited to I don't even want to say it, but I was invited to just put it this way, many, many, many things. And I went out of my way, and I prior to that, I had gone out to all of the trade bodies and the trade councils, and I got all of the connections, and it was just such a very interesting time. But the market was not ready. It was getting ready, but it wasn't ready. And while the market was getting ready, I had my baby, and and decided to look at other skills that I could bring to Africa with, right? And what I could bring to Africa instead of just that. And Tanzania provides for me a lot of opportunities to return to that model and return to that project. And so I never really put it to the side. The domain name is still alive. Everything is still intact, still in place. All the connections are still in place. And, I am moving back towards working on what I came, what I worked and developed on myself. So the next chapter is going to look very, very, very interesting, and a lot of people aren't going to understand it. That's fine. A lot of people are not going to be able to come with me on that journey. That's fine. But I know who I am. I have my identity intact. I know the kind of mind that I have. If you go back to the earlier videos, I said that this project is only a physical manifestation of stuff that I've built in the tech world, right? If I could take everything that I developed in the tech world and put it out here in the tangible world, I would have at least 20 Exodus houses. That's no joke. That is absolutely no joke. So I took the weird thing is I know how to develop, and I know develop in the tech world, and I know how to develop in the real world, and I know how to develop businesses, and I know how to scale businesses, and I know how to operate things. And I've just sat on this project, biding my time, because I understand the market well enough, and I know when the market is ready and when it is not. And I just, sat and bided my time, went back to film school, went back to, doing various things, this included. But the time is now. You know, one of the reasons why I bided my time as well, aside from the market being ready, Renee had to be ready too, right? Because what I was doing 2014, 2015, all the way to 2017, it's not that I failed. In fact, I succeeded. You know, my company won the Jamaica Stock Exchange Pitch Challenge. My company won Camp Unicorn in Beijing. You know, my company was one of the favorite pitches in Amman, Jordan. You know, it's not that I failed, it's that I didn't have enough people to support or to work with me. And that's why some investors, they would rather invest in teams rather than individuals, right? And so as an individual, no one ever stopped to look at what I accomplished so far on my own. They use that as a as a crutch to say, well, you know, we can because you're just one person. Well, hey, if you invest, I can always hire someone else, right, to help and to build a company. That's the whole point. And so I learned how to be self-sufficient. I learned how to make do with little. On my own, I can wake up at 3 a.m. and work back till 7 a.m. When my baby wakes up, I can breastfeed her, give her a bath, put on her clothes, take care of her, you know, and I can continue to do all that I need to do. So, you know, I never missed a beat. The market just was not ready. So I think now Renee is ready. I have all the tools, I have all the skills, I have the experience, I have the background, I have the connections, I have the know-how, and you know, and I have the tools, right? Um, Graduating film school was a tool that will help me on this journey to build new things for people, to help businesses develop in a very strategic way and a very intentional way, you know, of conveying their capabilities. So that is that is what I'm doing right now. I'm pivoting. I'm pivoting. I'm pivoting into a new direction. Well, like I said, it's not a new direction, but it's an old direction, and I'm there. And I set the groundwork, I set the framework like this. You know, I've seen other people who are now, you know, they're this, they're that. But there's so many pitfalls in their plans that they don't even know that exist. Like this, like when people say, okay, I'm going to go and start an Exodus house in Africa, or I'm going to go and do what Renee's doing because her model seems to work. You know, there's a lot of trial and error in this model, but more, hey, looky Lou, for me, asante. So, I got some food. Thank you. All for me? Oh, beans and rice. Check it out. Beans. Let me see. I wanted makange, so it's kind of some kind of chicken. So anyway, what I want to tell you is sometimes it's not, the answer isn't no. Sometimes the answer is not now. And you have to know when to jump back into the ring. So you can fight and you can wrestle and you can tussle and you can be prepared to get beat, right? But you have to get up and get back to it. You have to get up and fight again for who you are and what you know you can do, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Just know when to get up. Sometimes the answer is not now, and when I decided that I was no longer going to work on and promote that project, I had to receive that, but I was very intentional with how I received the message, not as rejection, and that's why I decided to stop doing what I was doing at the very top when I had accomplished a lot. But I knew on the other side of that, that the market was not sustainable, and so donations and winning pitches are not a way to fund the business. The business has to fund itself, right? And so the market was not there, not in the regions that I was looking at, not for the logistics that I needed for what I was looking to do. But you know, I'm in a new place. Tanzania is one of the most um, what can I say? It's a powerhouse, man. This is a powerhouse. If you know what you know and you can do what you can do anything in this country. If you're a business-minded person and a business-oriented person and you understand business and you understand people and you understand how to move business, this is the place. This is the jam. I don't know about anybody else, but this is the jam for me, right? We got Zanzibar over there. That's its own entire resort destination. We have all of the wildlife, the big five. You have all of the economies. You have the port. Are surrounded by all these other countries that are landlocked. I mean, if you're a business-minded person and you are not seriously thinking about Tanzania, you need to check yourself. Go do some research. Go do some research. It might not be for everyone, but it definitely is for business-minded people who know how to run a business and who know how to operate a business and who know how to build connections and look at certain opportunities. There is nothing here that I didn't find to be valuable and wonderful for me and my kid. So I'm gonna leave you on that note. I'll let y'all know when I'm ready to share with you what I'm doing next. Thank you so much for watching. Time for Chakula. Bye.